Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap, a part of the Rockies Now podcast network. I'm your host, Steven. Oh boy. Yeah, I brought back the pain quotation slash parentheses after my name just because I wanted to. Your Rockies, it didn't look good today. Well, overall, the game wasn't bad. The Rockies had was it a 3-1 or 3-2 lead for a majority of the game, and then the D-backs tied it, and then eventually they won the game um, later in the inning. I should say late in the game, and it was a play that was I think it was in the outfield, and again I didn't watch the end of the game. I was busy at working outside around my home, and I see the highlight and Nolan Jones. It was a tough play. I mean, he made a nice attempt, couldn't grab it. Diamondbacks take the lead 5-3, and then of course the Rockies had, I believe, the bases loaded in the ninth inning, didn't score a run, so that was incredibly frustrating. Um, but yeah, it was just that kind of series for the Rockies. I feel like especially today, they had multiple opportunities to score runs, and this is what we've been talking about over the last several days, that the Rockies, they have all these opportunities to either tie the game or take the lead, and it just doesn't happen. And a lot of it has to do with the offense with Chris Bryant, with Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones is suffering offensively. He's not looking good. He struck out quite a bit today. And a lot of guys are just not clicking offensively. And like I said last night, we're just not seeing the offense that we should. And, we need to see improvement from a lot of these players like not Doyle, Rogers, Bryant, and Nolan Jones. Um, so getting into our, notes for today's game. Rockies batters, they walked 6 times. That's great. They were getting some good at bats, especially against Tommy Walker, who is somewhat of a, probably could be most likely their fifth guy instead of he's their number three guy in the rotation. Um, but the Rockies, they struck out 11 times today, and that's something that again they've struggled quite a bit over the last few years. We all know that it's something that they have to work on, and that's one of the things that they were working on in spring training, cutting on down on those strikeouts. But they're still struggling with that, and again, a lot of it has to do with a lot of the younger players. Doyle, Tovar, and Jones. A lot of these guys, these rookies, they're they like to swing a lot, and that's what happens when you're developing a player, I guess. But also too, I mean, the D-backs have some really solid pitchers, but today, the Rockies offense only had 6 hits today. Tovar had 3 of them, so he's still looking good to start the year. Montero had one, Rogers had one, and Toglia had one, which was his third home run of the season. And so that's great to see that Toglia is kind of carrying that nice offense from spring training, and he definitely deserved the call up and the opening day roster assignment. So again, good to see from Toglia. I think he now leads the team in home runs. Um, but again, it's the strikeouts need to come down for everybody, not just Toglia. But at least Toglia is looking nice. That's something that we can kind of look at positively. Good outing from Austin Gomber today. How about the rotation over the last week or so, especially at Coors Field? You're playing the Rays and you're playing the Diamondbacks, two postseason teams from last year. Again, both winnable series. The Rockies should have won both of them, but didn't happen. But again, the rotation did a pretty excellent job, over the last few days against the Rays and the Diamondbacks. And just looking at it again, like I mentioned right at the start of the show tonight, the Rockies, they just can't seem to close out games to start the season, right? And today we were talking about Justin Lawrence. He's having a rough start. I still believe in Justin Lawrence. I mean, this is a guy that we all wanted to see close games last year. He was so nasty, especially in the first half. Like, he was unhittable, especially with that sweeping action. Man, it's he like when he's on his game, when his command is in the zone, he's unhittable, right? And so we really need to have Justin Lawrence really clicking again. And just right now, it's not really clicking for some of the guys in the bullpen. But I mean, overall, the bullpen wasn't bad. It was just that ninth inning was again shaky. The Rockies, they've struggled to close out games this year, or at least keep the lead going into extra innings. So it's unfortunate, and it's the Rockies. This is something that they have to improve, and no matter what happens in the future in the next year or two or in the next 5 years, they have to close out games. They have to have a good, formidable bullpen. And I think they're trying to, but again, a lot of these young players in the bullpen too. Jake Bird is, going into, I believe, his second or third year. Justin Lawrence, same thing. And, the Rockies, they really need guys like Daniel Bard, a bounce back season from him once he's healthy. Lucas Gilbreth, who should be coming back in the next few weeks. I think there's a report saying that he should be getting something like a minor league assignment soon. So that's good. But yeah, they need help in the bullpen, and that's something that I feel like the Rockies could have done better in the offseason to address that. But anyways, the Rockies, they have a day off tomorrow as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays on Friday for a 3-game series in Toronto. It will be the first time since 2013 that the Rockies will be in Toronto, and yeah, that's crazy because I think that's when Todd Helton retired that year. So the last time the Rockies were in Toronto, Todd Helton was on this team and he was playing. So that's your crazy info for the day, I guess. Looking at our MLB notes here, the Marlins, they finally got their second win of the season and a win over the Yankees today. So good for you. The Astros, this is one that kind of shocked me because I haven't really paid attention to the Astros, but the Astros are 4-9 to start 2024. Their pitching has not been good, and then of course they had that guy get called up today. He didn't look good, gave up like I think 7 runs in just a few innings in his first start. Again, he's a rookie, so but yeah, they're 4-9. So the Rockies are 3-10. So the Astros are just barely better than the Rockies. So um, I don't know. Again, take it as you will, but like I said last night, this is not going to be a good year for your Rockies. But you never know. You want to stay positive, but again, right now, especially over the last week or two, it's hard to be positive with this Rockies team, especially in this rebuild that we're in right now. But going to Jackson Holiday's game, even though it wasn't flashy, Jackson Holiday went 0 for 4 in his debut and struck out twice, but he did get his first RBI on a ground out, and he made, I think, a nice play in the game defensively. So that was good. Super excited to see him. As a matter of fact, I might actually buy his jersey eventually. If he gets, of course, if he has a great season, and I'm sure that the Orioles are probably going to play him for the rest of the year on the roster. I mean, unless if he starts out really really cold for the first several weeks and he's just not doing well, not hitting, they'll probably send him down just for a little bit. But again, I'm seriously, as a Rockies fan growing up, I was, of course, a big Matt Holliday fan, and he was my idol growing up. And honestly, Jackson Holiday was, around my age. I think I might be the same age as him. But yeah, it's just crazy. So I might get a jersey of his. But we got a comment here from YouTube. Fezzy D says the Rockies just went toe to toe, kind of, with one of the World Series contenders in the D-backs. Once again, a lot to be excited about. On to Toronto. Go Rocks. Let's go Rocks. Yeah, again, Fezzy D, thank you for the comment. Yeah, there is stuff to be excited about, but again, right now, and I put out this stat on our social media pages today that, and some other guys too, a lot of Rockies beat writers did this too, but the attendance has been down quite a bit, and I'm sure you guys noticed it over the last, um, week in the first 2 series, and I mean, I think some of it has to do with the boycotting. And then a part of it might be the weather too, because the weather hasn't been great. Other than the first game opening day, I mean, it hasn't been the greatest weather. It's been like 50s type weather with a lot of wind, making it a lot colder. Not to mention the other night it was like in the 30s during the game. So it's like, who wants to go to a game like that, right? And but I mean, there's still a lot of a season left, and I'm not really so concerned because again, the Rockies fans, they always show up, or at least some of these casual fans, they show up to the ballpark. Coors Field does pretty well, but looking at the stats and everything, looks like this year the attendance will be a little bit more down than last year, and last year was one of the lowest we've had in a while. But yeah, so again, there is stuff to be excited about. I didn't really check on the minor leagues tonight. Maybe I should do that, but just so you guys know, Tom and I will be back doing the podcast tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, because we haven't done one in a while. And so we're going to do podcasts every couple weeks just to kind of give you guys updates what's going on with the Rockies and maybe a little bit on the farm system as well. So we'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, the farm system for the Rockies looks really good, and that's something to be excited about. With the team, there's just not a lot of stuff to be excited about except some of the younger players. It's really really bad. And again, this is a part of a rebuilding team. This is to be expected. But right now, it's just like a part of you is like, do I want to watch the game or do I not want to watch the game? That sort of thing. But anyways, it's rough right now in Rockies Nation. So again, buckle in there. It's going to be a long year. But again, there's always tomorrow. There's always that next game to be better and to improve. But with this Rockies team, there's a lot of improvement that needs to be done. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed with this team offensively and the pitching. Everything needs to be fixed. And the Rockies, they need to look at their analytics department and try to figure out how to cut down on strikeouts, how to cut down on chase rate, all that sort of stuff. And I guess the nice thing, knock on wood, is that the defense has been a little bit better, especially at home field. So, maybe going back to Coors Field kind of helped them defensively. Not to mention Brendan Rodgers. He made an incredible play today at first, in second base, made a big out at first base, an incredible throw there. But that's something to hang your hat on, I guess. But anyways, like I said, tomorrow the Rockies, they have a day off. So again, I think tomorrow Tom and I, we're going to do a podcast. So make sure you're tuned in tomorrow for the podcast. Again, we're just going to do this probably every 2 to 3 weeks, kind of give you guys what's going on with the Rockies, the farm system, maybe something like that. Trying to, just let you guys know what's going on for Rockies now, kind of give you guys updates. So stay tuned for that. And again, Tom's got the Blue Jays series covered this weekend in Toronto. Folks, thanks for coming on in. Thanks, Fezzy D, for your comment. Make sure you're subscribed to Rockies Now on YouTube and make sure you follow us on all of your social media pages. That will do it for today, folks. As always, go Rockies.